Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? I just wanted to make this quick little video. It's been a while since I've uploaded, and that is because I have been very busy with work, trying to save money, trying to get my car fixed up, and I just wanted to kind of put out this quick little video today because I did notice I have 3 new subscribers. Uh, Yeah, sorry about that. I would like to apologize to my subscribers that I did not know that I had. So I'm just going to put this video out today. This is going to be the easiest vehicles to do an oil change on. Now, if you guys will bear with me, I still don't know what I want to do with this channel. I made this channel just to start a gaming channel at first. And I still may make uh, some gaming videos. I don't know if that's something you guys would like to see, or I may make another channel for my gaming videos, to be honest with you, and I may just keep this, just chatting, may go live every once in a while, just to talk about cars, life experiences, whatever floats my boat for the day. But this is going to be a little bit of insight. If you are looking to buy a vehicle at this point in time, here are some of the easiest cars that you can do an oil change on. And it might save you some money because I do know oil changes are getting very expensive nowadays. I think our full synthetic oil changes are over $100. And then once you get tax in there, it's like 120, 130. Uh, Normally, if the person I'm working with is pretty cool and doesn't give me an attitude, I'll discount them 15% usually, at least 10% minimum. But yeah, we'll get into it. First on the list of the easiest vehicles to do an oil change on would be Hondas. Hands down, super easy. The filter is right next to the plug on most of them. Even the older ones are on the back of the block. Super easy to get to if you once you jack it up. Not a big deal. Some of the newer Nissans are very easy to get to as well. Now, some of the newer cars have skid plates on the bottom, and why I do not know. That is the stupidest thing you could do is put a skid plate that covers up everything. I mean, it keeps dirt and debris from getting up there. Yeah, I'll give you that. But if you're just driving around on the road, because it is a car, it's not meant for off-roading to begin with. Uh, you don't need a skid plate on those. Just riding around on the road. And if you do bump something underneath, then you're not you're not driving very well, just to say the least. All right, let's get back to it. Let's see. We got some of the Toyota cars are pretty easy. They have holes in the skid plate where the filters are. BMWs are actually super easy. Um, just because the plug is not under the skid plate on most of them. There's usually a hole right for the plug, and the filters are on top of the motor, which is very easy to get to. So if you do have money for a BMW, you might want to check that out. Chevy trucks are the easiest oil change I've ever done, ever. The filter again is right next to the oil plug. So if you're looking to buy a Chevy truck, you cannot go wrong when it comes to time to change your oil. And most of the time, they're really high up off the ground, so you don't even have to jack them up. You can just crawl up under there and do it yourself. It's very easy. And then we got Jeeps. They sit so high up as well. The only problem is they are on the passenger side, up on top of the steering rack. There's just enough room to get a band wrench in there to get it loose. And once you get it loose, oil pours down all down the rack, all down the axle there. So you might want to do a little job of cleaning that up. You might take your hose down there and spray that off once you're done, because it is going to leave a mess. And now we got the hardest vehicles to change oil on. I will tell you, any diesel truck, no matter what it is terrible to change the oil on. The filters are most of the time pretty easy to get to. I have seen some that are in the fender on the passenger side, and those are a pain to get to. I mean, just super, just terrible. And if you get that diesel oil on any clothing, it will stain it. So you may as well just throw whatever clothes you're wearing to do that oil change away. Or take it somewhere to have it done. That's what most people do. That's why I have a job. Lifted trucks are pretty difficult just because I'm pretty short, so when I'm downstairs in the pit underneath the cars, even standing on a two-step little, what I like to call my baby high chair because I'm short. Everybody makes fun of me for it. But even standing on that, I can barely lift some of these really lifted trucks' oil filters, and it's not fun. Toyota trucks, the Tundras, they all have skid plates that weigh like 50 pounds. Um, it's only 4 bolts, so it's really not that terrible. The worst part of it is when you drop it down, you kind of have to slide it to the left and then pull it out. And getting it off is way easier than putting it back on because the clips are in the front and you really can't see where the holes are if you're not standing in front of it, basically. It's pretty difficult to get that back on there and then clip it and then push it back up and then bolt it on all at once. Um, but over a few months of doing that, it gets easier and easier. Once you get it done the first time, you'll be like, oh well, that wasn't too bad, but it was kind of a pain in the neck. Ford trucks, they're not that bad. Just because the filter is in the front of the motor on the driver's side, it's not that hard to get to. But when I'm downstairs, I have to crawl under the pan, and it takes a little bit longer than most other oil changes. So if I do like 2 or 3 Fords in a row, which has happened quite a bit, it kind of gets annoying because it slows you down. Because usually there's only one person working downstairs, and there's more people working on the top, and they're all waiting on you and yelling and screaming, "Hey, where you at?" And I'm like, "I'm stuck down here." Anyway, they do have plastic plugs on some of these, so if I was looking to buy a Ford truck at this point in time, I would. Uh, Sometimes you can look underneath it to see if the plug is a plastic plug. They are bright yellow, so it's kind of hard to miss. Unless there's a skid plate. Some of these Fords have skid plates that are covering them up, so you cannot really tell. The plastic plugs are not a favorite, just because there was a recall on that. So if you do have one with a plastic plug, try and take it to the dealer and get that recall. They'll put a metal pan and plug back in there for you. Uh, just because those plastic ones tend to leak after 5,000 miles or so, which is why we change them out with every oil change. But they're hard for us to get. We can only get them from the dealer, and they will only sell us X amount at a time. So if you run into that at your local oil change shop where they don't have the plastic plugs, it's not surprising, especially now with all the shipping stuff that's going on. Volkswagens is the next terrible. It's the most difficult one to do the oil change because the skid plate is half the body length of the vehicle, and it's got like 50 plastic pins in the bottom of them, and it's a nightmare. It really is a pain in the butt, and it will take forever. So if you have a Hello, hello, hello. Oh, my microphone just cut out on me right in the middle of the video. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Volkswagens again. Yeah, it's just not worth doing it at the house. I would take that to a shop for sure. Um, Audis. Again, I would take that to the dealer for an oil change. I wouldn't take it to an oil change shop just because we don't do a lot of those, and sometimes we run out of the filters. And Audis again, it's gonna be a 3/4 skid plate with 50-60 plastic push pins. Again, it's it's not worth. Because most of the time, I will admit it, I do lose push pins from time to time, just trying to keep speed. But if you ask me, 49 push pins out of 50 is still gonna hold the dang thing up. Just saying. And some of these Chevy SUVs are somewhat difficult to do the oil change on. The oil filter is right in the front of the motor, which is not a bad location. It's very easy to get to. It's not hard to screw in. The only problem is if you're doing it at home, let the car cool off before you do it, obviously. Usually that's with any oil changes, you let it cool off, but the ones that come in my shop are have been running, and sometimes they're sitting and waiting in line, and the exhaust manifold is right next to it, and it gets freaking hot, and is a very easy way to burn your arm. Just saying. So be careful with that. And that concludes the hardest list of oil changes and the easiest list of oil changes that I have come across in my line of work. Um, so yeah, I just want to thank you guys who did subscribe. We'll be trying to put out more videos. Once this starts going, if I can get a few more subscribers, if things start looking up for this channel, I'll invest more. I'll get me a webcam, and I did buy this new headset. So this is a new microphone that I am currently using, which did shut off after 10 minutes. I don't know why. I have to look into that. I'm not very tech savvy, but I know enough. I know enough to fix computers when they break. That's why all my family comes to me and says, "Hey, you need to fix this." Uh, but other than that, tech is just. I'm interested in the hardware. I have built a very nice computer, but when it comes to software or editing, video editing, and stuff like that, that's something I'm still gonna have to learn as I go. So hopefully, once I get some money coming in, or get some money saved up, actually, I'm trying to get my own place. So once I do that, I can start saving up for uh, cameras and stuff like that to get this thing going, hopefully. But I do want to thank those who did subscribe and apologize for not putting anything out in the last few months. I've been swamped, and I'm now on my third day of vacation, and I'm feeling great. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for checking this out.